Welcome to the Developing Dads podcast on this wonderful, wonderful morning. It's episode number 56, where we, cords and stitches already, where we are going to delve into our 2023 goals. So the last episode you would have listened to, hopefully, if you're an avid listener, is the 2022 look back. When I was doing this, my goals are very, very similar to they were last year, with a few tweaks. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can probably see I'm a bit red-faced and probably still sweating because I've just come back from a run. And yeah, it's 8 in the morning, so it's probably the earliest podcast we've ever done.
What a couple of guys, eh, Neil? What a couple of... Neil's had a wonderful morning where he's gone out, he's gone for a run, he's had his cold shower, he's been a mental fortified David Goggins lookalike. And here I am. I just got up.
Protein shake.
I got up, had a coffee, Laura's last question to me was, have you changed her? And that's pretty much been my morning.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it was a hard slog getting out of bed. Rough sleep last night with Ben, had a pretty high temperature, all the usual dad stuff. So yeah, I was lying in bed. It was Rebecca's morning to get up with the kids. I heard the rain battering off the window. I'm like, oh, do I do it? I did it. 5k in the bank. And here I am, refreshed, revitalised.
Nasal gazing at the world, just saying, look how great I am.
Yeah, flexing a little bit. Anyway, like we would normally do, Christmas has been and gone, Boxing Day's been and gone. We haven't chatted through the kind of Christmas period, but I did a little bit. We did a FaceTime on Christmas Day. Anyway, how's your week been? How you doing?
My week, yeah, it's been fine, to be honest. It's that weird period where I think yesterday I was talking to Laura. We're trying to organise something for today because there's no rain forecast, so we're kind of trying to organise something to do something out and about in London. And she was like, "Oh, we can go on Thursday." I was like, "Oh, great. I'll have a look at the trains and whatever else." And so behold, it was a Wednesday. And she was like, "It's happening tomorrow." And I was like, "Well, all right. Well, we'll have to get organised then." But yeah, I think this time of year, I just tend to find I lose myself in days. Like I don't know where I am or what I'm doing, and just stuff's happening. Like it's the 29th of December, which feels very weird. But no, I haven't really done much, to be honest. It's kind of, part of me feels like I need to finish all the crap that's in the cupboards. All the food. So I'm kind of
chocolates and sweets.
Let's have 2 cake slices, 2 cake slices with my lunch. And then with dinner, I'll have 2 cake slices with my dinner. And because I feel bad throwing it out, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want it. Like, I know people buy it for you and stuff, but I just find that if it wasn't there, I wouldn't eat it. Like, I like nice food. I like chocolate and I like biscuits and I like all those kind of things. But generally speaking, if stuff's not in the house, it's very unlikely that I'm going to put my shoes on, walk down to the local co-op and get myself Snickers. It just doesn't happen. Like it doesn't. Like I think for most people, like it's probably one of the best pieces of advice. It's like, if you want to do something, make it easy and make the barrier to entry very low. But also, if you want to get fat, then make it easy and make the barrier to entry low, right? If you want to gain a belly, then have lots of alcohol in the house and lots of biscuits. So I guess I've been trying to working through that. Sitting down, like yesterday I had a good couple of hours where I was like, I think if my accountant listens to this, he's gonna have a heart attack because I've put together an income and expenses spreadsheet where for most of my professional life, I've not really planned anything, if you will. I've never really kind of structured my year or looked at quarters or kind of set goals, but they're typically be like, oh, that'd be nice to achieve kind of thing. And I feel like 2023 is going to be a year where I'm going to get a bit smarter, a bit cleverer, a little bit more monitoring, a little bit more kind of like, this is a good move. This is a good direction to go in, refine it a little bit, because that's what I think your 30s should be, generally speaking, is a bit more refinement. Whereas the 20s, you just kind of like, run at a wall and see if it falls down. If it doesn't, just keep running at it.
That's a Gary V thing.
Yeah, it's lots of people. It's not just him. I think it's Jordan Peterson talks about that as well. And I think it's just a general manscape kind of process. So did a bit of planning yesterday where I put together a spreadsheet that I'm going to sort of use and monitor. I've already discovered that my monthly overheads are about 900 quid a month, including my pension payments. So I'm like, I think we can maybe cut that down a little bit. But then also just the realization, you're like, well, some of these I actually use, some of them I definitely use, certainly for my creative business. You know, if people actually realized how much it cost, which it doesn't cost that much if you compare it to other businesses, but if you realize how much it costs to like just maintain the business, like it's not cheap, it's not free. You know, all the apps and things that I use to send clients data, to hold on to it, to manage it, to edit stuff with, all that kind of thing. Like it's a couple £100 a month at least. You know, that's £2,500 a year. So if someone comes to me and goes, "Can you do my video for £50?" You're like, well, like I've got a minimum cost here of quite a lot. So stuff like that. I did sit down last night, sort of hashed out some goals aspect. There's quite a few of them, so I still need to break them down into probably when I'm going to do them or when I'll try and achieve them and stuff. And that's kind of what we're getting to in this podcast. And then today, I had a nice reminder. I guess it's a nice reminder from Facebook, because that's basically all I use Facebook now for, is Facebook memories.
Yeah, love it. But then there's going to be a point in time where the memories are going to stop. Well, they're not going to stop, but like there'll be a gap. Like I find, like I go through phases of posting stuff, and I don't know, there's been less posts coming. So
I seem to have posted every year on every day for about some nonsense over the past couple of years. There's definitely like there's not been like recent 1 year ones, I guess. Yeah, so there's like one of the ones today from the memories was on this exact day we started our world travels. So it was World Trip Day. So that was 2016. The 29th of December, we set off on our 25 country adventure.
Yeah, I remember. So you came up to Aberdeen for Christmas that year, and I took you to the airport with Isla. I should have kept those photos, because there's photos of us saying bye to you. I don't think Laura was there, but definitely you were there.
It was just me.
Yeah,
she was spending time with her family. So yeah, it was that was quite a nice reminder, and it made us both think. You know, Laura was 25, I was 29, and we were doing something that I kind of mentioned to Laura. We're doing something that you do when you're retired.
Yeah. True.
You know, like people go traveling when they're retired, when they've finished life and they've got a bit of cash in the bank. They maybe sold the house, you know, and they go off and they go and do an adventure around the world and they go and see some bits and pieces. But we were doing that at mid to late 20s. Like to me, that if you think of generations that came before us, like that just wasn't possible. It wasn't even 10 years prior to that wouldn't have been possible. Really, it would have been a bit more challenging because the internet was kind of a thing, but it would probably be still a bit difficult. Like there's still travel agents kicking around, all that kind of stuff. Whereas we were just literally booking stuff online. We had WhatsApp and we could speak to each other and have FaceTimes and stuff like that. So it was like you weren't really disconnected. You're just in a different country. So we're kind of reminiscing a little bit about that, which was quite nice this morning. But yeah, that's my week. Really
nice.
How's yours?
Yeah, it's been really nice. As you say, kind of lost in the days. Christmas Day is always I don't know if I'm more excited than the kids, but certainly I'm excited for them to walk down the stairs and see all the presents, and they're like, "Oh, Santa's been." And it's just such a visual. You can just see their excitement in their eyes, which is nice. And every present they open, they're like just flabbergasted. For some reason.
How could you repeat that though? Like, how could you do that without spending money and without it being the day that Jeebus was born?
Yeah, you couldn't, because there's a build up of like in school, of their social circles. Like there's just that massive build up from 1st of December till this day. Yeah. And it's just such a climax. But it's ace. Absolutely love it. And then we had one of Rebecca's friends came over kind of mid-morning. She'd not got any family, or she's got her mum across here. She's from Australia. Long story short, she's not got much family or friends. So we invited over for a nice Christmas Day breakfast. And then we went over to our parents, which was nice. And then had dinner there. Boxing Day was very chilled. Ended up in the pub with Dad, which was a bit different, but nice.
A bit different? Why was it a bit different?
The place I live, there's a place near us called Inverkeithing, which isn't there's a train station in it, which has got lots of trains going in and out, but there's nothing else apart from two pubs, and Dad wanted to visit these two pubs. So, just a different, like, I don't know, it's when you go into kind of a rough area of London, then there's just the standard locals that have been there all day in Boxing Day. And here's me, a bit of a funny story. There was only one type of lager on draft, and it was just Tennent's, as you'd expect. So I had a pint of Tennent's. This was my second pint of the night, and as I was getting up to leave, because we can only last one pint in this place because it was that bad, I put on my big thick jacket, and the end of my jacket hit the glass onto the floor. And all these rowdy people turned around and was like, "Way!" And here's me just in the spotlight, with everyone staring at me. And then somebody shouted, "Oh, if you smash a glass in this pub, you need to buy everyone around." I was like, "All right." Is that how it works, is it?
Can you feed my family then? Sorry, Jim.
These guys probably don't have that much money in the bank either. So yeah, that was an experience, but it was good to spend time with Dad. And yeah,
I had that a look. What I find is that obviously you live in your own little world, right? Where you've got your mates and they've all got the similar values to you. Like, it'd be rare that you'd hang out with people with different values. You also rare that you'd hang out with people with different statuses, right? So different statuses in the old societal hierarchy. And when you'd venture out of your little comfortable world into other people's worlds, and I find it kind of, I don't know whether I find it comfortable or uncomfortable. Like,
fascinating, I think, is the word I'd use.
But it's like at the football. I was at the football and Boxing Day. That was one thing I didn't mention in my week. And football had such a spread of individuals. Right?
Yeah,
you've got like posh teams with lots of money. You've got kind of up north teams that are kind of certainly more working class aspects of things. But it's just some of the behaviors. You're just like, you're a grown ass man. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're like, are you like this outside of this football game? I imagine some people aren't, because it's kind of like one of those things where you just, it's just a way to be like, just escape into some sort of weird world of like, there's a man in the middle of the pitch wearing black that you're like, the referee's a wanker, stuff like that. And it's just, you'd never do that in like any other setting. Yeah. But at the same time, there's kind of people that are just, that's all they do. Like, that's their life, is just basically to go to a football match and hurl abuse at a man in the middle of the pitch, and then just call everyone wankers and stuff like that. So I don't know.
It's a bit like that in the pub, where you kind of see the clear locals that go there most days and spend their money, and you just think, like, they can't be waking up in the morning and feeling fresh and feeling good. And yeah, I don't know how these guys function, like functioning alcoholics. They're just.
But then that's more of a, there's something in the shape of hedonic adaptation, which is where you just live within your environment, right? You buy a big house, it just becomes normal. You buy a nice car, it becomes normal. If you run most days, Neil, that becomes normal, and you know that feels like a normal sense of thing, right? And if you do that long enough, it just becomes part of like what you do and who you are.
Yeah.
So I guess if you stopped running, you probably wouldn't feel yourself, right? Just like I haven't weight trained for a number of months, and I haven't necessarily felt myself from that perspective. But it changes, the less you train. So it's for them, it's like, that just must be normal. They don't know what fresh feels like, Neil.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Very true.
They just know what a hazy morning feels like after 6 pints on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Boxing Day, and then I thought the next day, 27th, we booked a soft play that Gordon and Laura kindly got our kids tickets to, and we invited other friends, and they tried to get tickets, and they were like, "It's not open today." So I booked tickets for a day that was closed, which thankfully it saved a 40-minute trip in the car. But yeah, it's like kind of like what you mentioned, is getting lost in the days, which I quite like. I quite like when, like, you don't really know what the time of day is. You don't really know, what the day is. I think is it Wednesday, Thursday today?
Thursday.
Yeah, that feels good. And it was just like a wholesome time. We're away up to see Rebecca's parents. We were going to go to Skye, but it's been turned into Peterhead because the weather's slightly better.
What a difference. For those who don't know what the difference between Skye and Peterhead, it's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But we're going to do a 1st of January sea dip in the North Sea, which will be cold. Oh, and I've got a secret special guest. Yes, Ben?
Can you show us?
What is it?
Should hold the microphone to his mouth so you can hear him.
As someone.
Something.
No, Dad.
Do you want to say hello to Uncle Gordon?
No.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks very much.
Dad, I want to go away.
Go and see Mummy. Okay. Oh, he's got nervous. Anyway, that was good old Ben. I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, sea dip in the North Sea, which would be nice. But yeah, it'd be good to see William and Julia and a few other friends and family.
Very good. That's it.
That's it. That's my week. I'm glad I've got a few friends that are working in between. I'm just so glad I'm not. It's like the third year in a row I haven't. It just feels awesome.
Yeah, how is that productive? Like nobody gives
Yeah, I
a
know.
crap. Like nobody cares. Like literally nobody. You know, why? I don't know. I do remember when we were younger, we used to work most Christmases and most Boxing Days, and you know, we just earn money, right? That's kind of what we wanted to do. But now I'm just like, nah. Like, I don't know. I don't think I'd let my kids work Christmas and Boxing Day like I did.
No, yeah, I think it needs to be a treasured time.
Because even if it's double time, they're still only getting like £10 an hour.
Yeah.
You know, like you could,
You
day
pay
you
them.
get 80 quid for the day. Like whoop-de-doo. You know,
Yeah.
I'll give them 100 quid if they want, but no, you're not working. But that does line us up nicely in terms of, you know, 2023 is ahead. This is our last podcast of 2022, which is pretty cool. We've done pretty much a whole year. Well, we have done a whole year, to be fair, because this will go out, I think, the day that we launched our first podcast, Neil. Which
Nice.
I think, what day was it we had our first podcast? I think it was like the 9th or something of January. Do you want me to look it up, or are you bothered?
I think it's round about the year.
All right. Hold on.
Will
I've
this
got the
be
internet
out
on.
first of January? Or not first?
Well,
It'll
it'll be out the 9th of
be
January.
the 9th, yeah.
Yeah, and our first podcast was on the if I just click through these, 9th of January. So this will be our one year podcast, Neil. How about that?
Nice.
Yeah, so it's fitting
it's the
to do the
same topic.
2023.
It's the same topic, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, that's it. We could do 3. We've got at least 3 episodes out of the 52 weeks of the year that are going to be about goals of some kind. Yeah, so it's about goals. We're kind of sitting down, working out like what do we want to achieve in 2023. And we, you know, if you listen to the other 2 episodes that we did, you know, we were kind of partly successful, partly not successful in some of our goals. But, you know, give me the big one first, Neil. Like, what's the shining North Star? What's the one that Neil's going to shoot for and achieve? And you've also got personal and professional ones, right?
Yeah, so I haven't done thinking off the cuff here in terms of my professional ones. I don't know if I've got any. Like, I got a promotion this year, and I'm pretty comfortable with what the next year looks like in terms of my work. So there's nothing really there. I don't need a career progression. I don't really need any courses. I did a pretty extensive course towards the end of this year. So yeah, it's all good. But yeah, my big kind of one this year, and it's one Rebecca and I both want to strive for, was a holiday abroad with the family. So the boys will be 5 in July. Isla will be 8 in February. And yeah, I just think it's a great year. It's a great time of their life to have a holiday. I think 5-year-old, they'll probably remember it. And they'll be going into primary school, which is mad, in August. So hopefully in the summer holiday sometime, we're going to get away abroad. Probably a Euro trip. It's not going to be anything major, but it'll involve a flight and like, I don't know, a chalet somewhere or a hotel, kids-friendly hotel. But yeah, that's the big goal for this year is a big family holiday.
When you say that, you know, you think they're going to remember it, they will remember it, Neil, for the money you're going to have to spend to take them away.
I've got like 90 or 80,000 in my Amex points. So I'll put some money towards the flights at least.
That's pretty good. Like that'll get you at least a couple of flights.
Yeah, and it helps that most of that's come from my work expenses because I just put all my hotels and flights on that. Yeah, it's good. So
have you got like a BA one or something?
it's a gold one. So no.
All right, look at you. You got membership. You got to pay.
They had some deal where you could get it free for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Plus like a £40,000 point bonus when you join.
Very nice. Very nice, Neil. Well done.
So yeah, I think, I mean, when Isla was 3.5, we won a 2-week holiday to Lanzarote, all inclusive. I don't know if you remember that. That was some kind of random competition that Rebecca won on Facebook that like you don't think you're going to win. Anyway, we won it, and it was like a 2.5-3 grand holiday. Absolutely phenomenal. Like I just remember every day Isla was just buzzing, and the boys were still getting cooked in Rebecca's tummy at the time. We didn't know it was twins, but it was a nice break before the chaos of twins that came. And yeah, I just think doing something like that before the boys hit primary school would be
I think
nice.
it's also the adventure stuff. I don't know if I'm right or wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure that when you have an adventure with someone or experience new things with someone, then it kind of psychologically embeds you more with each other.
Yeah,
Because you get that thing, like I was talking about this morning, when we went traveling, there was a whole bunch of that. But then also, we're now got these memories of this stuff, and we can just we both have this major compatibility when we were like, oh, remember we went to Yosemite, or remember we were in New Zealand and we had that camper van, or remember we were in the Philippines and we were in that boat, and those kind of things. Like it's such because you always remember doing it with them. So I imagine with the kids, it's going to be one of those things where, do you remember when we used to go to Gardenstown with Mum?
Yeah.
It's stuff like that where you just remember these things, and I think I think holidays important, but I think we over-index on it being a foreign holiday and far away because we're used to the place where we live and all the stuff that's there. But kids index on fun, really. And it's a holiday that's full of fun, and whether it's in the Shetland Isles or Monaco, I don't think they really care.
Yeah. But yeah, like a big water park somewhere would be awesome. Just talking about that talking about the memory thing, the kind of week we got back from the Lanzarote holiday with Isla is we got a photo book printed out, and to this day Isla still got it in her room and she still looks at it and still like remembers it. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your North Star goal?
I think
They all much.
I don't know. I've got a bunch of them because I've written them down in my little business Apple Notes section. I've got a bunch of them, but I think it has to be the health gym thing, because I was so up and down with it this year, so start and stop, so kind of like just wavering around, just not prioritizing it, which I think is really bad because I was talking to Laura's dad about this a little bit, where we were talking about the gym that Laura goes to, and it's not cheap. It's quite an expensive gym to go to, but Laura absolutely loves it. She absolutely loves it. Loves the community aspect, loves the programming, loves the PTing, loves the booking system, like the whole thing about it. She just absolutely loves it, which is fantastic. And he was kind of like, oh, it's really expensive, and it is. It's not cheap, but if that gave you 10 years more of your life,
or better, what's the word? More
and a better quality of life.
Better quality, yeah,
all of it. If it gives you all of that, and sure, like you can use the kind of like retort of, well, people just die at the age of 50, and they're fit as a fiddle. But I still think that 50-year-old who's weight trained and gone for a run every so often has probably got a better quality of life than someone who has never done that. Anyway, I just think I owe it to myself. I owe it to Isla, to Olivia. I owe it to Laura. I owe it to Laura's parents. I owe it to you. I owe it to your kids. That I bloody look after myself.
Yeah,
I do. Like I managed it for 20 years during sort of the age of 15 when I started weight training. I regularly weight trained, whereas now it's just not something that's part of my existence at the moment or thing that I'm doing, and it's kind of it's disappointing and it's annoying, and it's just something I need to take care of. And at the end of the day, that's got to be like the main goal, I think, of 2023. It's not a case of getting my health back. It's just getting back into routine and committing to exercising. It's because it's really not that difficult for me. Like I can put it into the calendar. I can go in the morning. Laura will fully support it. But I just need to pull my finger out and go and do it. I guess that's pretty much it. Because I've got all the education. It's not really. It's kind of a motivation thing, but not really. Because as soon as I get into the swing of it, like I can motivate myself to do it. It's just I've just got to put it in my calendar, and it's non-negotiable, and go and do it. Right?
Yeah, I agree. With the whole running thing, I like this morning. I kind of in my head I wanted to go out for a 5 mile run. Time ran away, but also I just couldn't be arsed, so I did a 5k. And I think it's okay to go out for 20 minutes, even if you go out for 10 minutes. Still better than nothing. At least you've got that. You're getting yourself into that habit. You're getting your running stuff on or your gym stuff on. Just go for half an hour at the gym. Like small steps.
Yeah, no, I know all that. That's the thing. Like I know all those things. Like this isn't. I know how to program. I know how to like do all the stuff. I've got a back catalogue of doing all the things. Like, there's literally no excuse. But I think the thing of this little kind of like 30-day trial thing that I've been doing at the gym that Laura trains at, it's been nice because it's kind of a good reminder of what I'm capable of and that I do like the gym. Like I like exercising. I do. It's a fun process for me to go through. Although getting up and going and doing it is not so fun. It's good. And I think having something in the diary and booked and knowing, like I was actually thinking about it yesterday. Like bear with me. I was thinking about it yesterday where debt is generally speaking a bad thing, especially if it costs you something like 4% a year or whatever else. So everyone's like, don't have car payments, don't get credit card debt, only really try and do a mortgage debt if you can, keep it as low as possible, as big a deposit as you possibly can, like all these types of things. But debt and owing someone money or spending that money and then having to use the resource of some kind ultimately can be a motivator for you to go and like do it. So if you've got large payments on a house to make, you bet your bottom dollar you're going to go to work, right? You're going to go and earn the money to go and make sure that you can afford that house. If you've got kids to pay for, you're going to go out and earn the money to make sure that they have a good life and work hard, all that kind of stuff. But equally, if every month, at the start of every month, a direct debit comes out of your bank account for a few £100s to go for a gym that's a personal training session or whatever else, isn't that partly a motivator for you to like get your ass out of bed and go and train? For some people, it's not, because it doesn't cost them enough. I think in a book called Freakonomics, they did an assessment of primary schools, I think it was, or secondary school, definitely primary schools, where they would fine the adults if they were late picking up their kids. And there was a certain threshold of amount of money that would hurt them. So, because it'd be like a £10 fine or something, and they'd be like, screw it, I'll take the £10 fine. Yeah. But then when they turned it to like a £110 fine or $110 fine, people were like, okay, that's a bit more money. So then people started to actually sort of follow through and pick up their kids on time. So I guess part of the health thing, if it's not something you necessarily enjoy, like find and you can afford it, like or just about afford it, find something expensive, because like the interest you gain, the compound interest that you'll gain from going to the gym regularly is that you'll live longer. Even if you're slightly obese, like if you've got a BMI of 30 and you're active, your health markers are so much better and you'll actually be much less likely to die young.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I was thinking about that. So yeah, sorry, I've kind of just gone off piece a little.
No, it's a good. It's a good reminder.
Health.
And I think about why I run and why it's kind of so ingrained in me, and it's like living longer and stuff. Also, the crazy chances of getting cancer is like 1 in 2. If I get cancer and I'm fit and healthy, there's more chance I'm going to survive it than if I am sedentary, obese, and a crazy BMI. So yeah, that motivates me. Well, I might not avoid cancer, but if I ever get it.
Do you know how to make it even better though? Is to also weight train.
I do once a week.
Progressively though. So it's like the thing is, if you go to 2 extremes, you go people who just weight train and people who just run. If you compare that to someone who weight trains and runs, the incidences of like health issues is much lower, and the person that has a much wider, broader take on exercise. So there you go.
Yeah,
start weight training. Neil.
I mean, it's quite fitting because yesterday I actually did 45 minutes of weight training, and I'm feeling it today. So
have you got a gym membership?
No, I've just got like 20 kilogram dumbbells downstairs.
All right.
So the boys love watching me.
You don't got a pure gym or something near you?
Yeah, and there's like a council gym, and so like, I've toyed with the idea of it, but it's that like age-old thing of like getting out of the house and yeah.
How far is the council gym?
5-minute walk, if that.
Right. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You're only doing the running because you know it's easy, it's comfortable, you're good at it. You're not doing the weights because you don't know if you're good at it. It's a new space, you don't like it. It's kind of new things to do, new things to see. But I tell you, if you're using those words like you want to do it for the health benefits, it's good for your running as well. And
Yeah, no,
if you only got 20 kilo dumbbells, there's not much progression in that, is there?
Yeah, but you can do it like slower. Or like, remember the fat grips you got me from years ago for my birthday? Like, I don't know, 18 or 19. Still got them. So.
Just go to the council gym for crying out loud.
Anyway, are you going to break that like goal down further into like, I want to go 3 days a week. I want to lose X amount of weight. I want to, is there any other?
Yeah. So I've done that bit, like the 3 times a week gym thing, realistic. Like I know the program, it's upper, lower. And then I'm going to do like a powerlifting day. In terms of like weight loss, I was thinking about doing like a fat loss thing in January, just for maybe 30 days, just to trim down a little bit, lose about 5 kilos and then see a better baseline, I guess. And then I think another activity thing was kind of looking at 8,000 steps a day on average. So trying to get up, and if it's not necessarily pissing it down rain outside, then actually once a day go out for a walk, maybe before or after lunch, something like that, and put it in my diary, especially if I'm not out working and I'm just kind of at my desk all day sort of editing or doing some bits and pieces. So I think, I've already broken it down. I know kind of what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. So it's just a case of, it's simply that case of like, once, I think it's Newton's law of motion or something, when an object is at rest, it remains at rest. But when an object is in motion, it continues to be in motion unless acted upon. So if I start moving, I start going to the gym and I start putting it in the diary, like 4 weeks later, it's now going to be the thing that I get up and go and do, and I'm not that fussed. So yeah, it's all in hand, Neil. It's all in hand.
Good.
Another one?
My one is on the same vein of kind of fitness, and I've had this for 2 years now, is my ultramarathon.
Yep.
Do
it, Neil, for crying out loud.
Do I feel embarrassed? It's been 2 years. No.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit bored of it, to be honest.
Just tick that box. For my birthday, I've asked Rebecca to get me an entry to a race.
Here we are.
I've told her the parameters. Somewhere in Scotland, over between 50 and 70 kilometers. That's the two things. It could be hills.
Like next month or something.
I want it in spring, so like get away from the winter shite weather, and into spring, which would be nice. So I just need to tick that box. And like, I feel, could I run it now? Probably be a bit slow, but at least I can tick it off and say I've done it.
Yeah, you're not winning any ultramarathon races, Neil.
I know. But I did I went further in terms of like I've done my yearly goals and I've done my January goals, because I feel like last year I started off doing this and breaking down each month and how can I achieve my bigger goal, and like running 3 times per week, similar to your gym. Like 3 times should be achievable. I'm used to running 5 to 6 times a week, so at least if I can get a minimum of 3, minimum of 3, then hopefully I can tick that box.
Nice. Yeah, you just got to do it, Neil. I think my mate Johnny was just like, "Shut up, Neil, just do it." Like you're gonna get injured. You're gonna like things are gonna happen. It's gonna be daunting. Blah blah blah. But if you just keep like kicking the can down the road, you're never gonna do it. So you just got to do one. It's like learning to swim, right? You can't learn to swim unless you get in the bloody sea. Yeah?
Agree.
All right. Excellent. A professional one for me. I guess like they're quite broad. Like I've got they're more specific around it. Maybe we can talk about it. But it's from a professional perspective, I'd like to diversify my income again. So diversify it more in the sense of, can I have something that's a little bit more passive? Can I find another active income stream? And some of them have been things like, well, one of them in particular is sort of looking at coaching clients. So I've had personal trainers, videographers, creative professionals, freelancers, these types of people. Like they reach out for me and we have conversations about pricing, and we have conversations about business building and social media development and all that kind of stuff. And only recently I've got 2 people that I coach. So we do 2 calls a month every couple of weeks. They're on a sort of retainer thing. So it's like my fitness online coaching, but less of the program writing and less of the nutrition advice, and more here. This is what we could do, and here's what we can develop, and what are you spending your money on, and how are you managing things, and how are you posting on social media? What does that look like? And when you're working with a client, what does that look like? And those kind of things. And I get a lot of energy, and I got a lot of enjoyment from helping those people. So I think I want to do more of that in 2023. So I've kind of developed a Greenhorn Creative Academy thing. So I've got like an 8-week course that they can sign up to and whatever else. So I just need to kind of like hunker down and then launch that. You can go into my Instagram bio now and go into the links, and you can go and book in a 30-minute or 60-minute creative call if you want, Neil. There you go. So I've already set that up. So that's a goal of diversifying my income to basically just help protect myself against all sorts of things that can come along, and develop the business further, which should be good. So I'm hoping to get maybe anywhere between 8 to 10 clients on that. So I've already got 2. So I'll only need another 8 or so, 6 to 8 more clients, which shouldn't be too difficult, I think, based on overall experience and what I've done and all that kind of thing. I just need to start selling it. The other one as well is to get some Skillshare classes or courses done. I think that it's too easy. Like, for example, 3 of them, I filmed a bunch of them in a gym where I could do a course on how to bench press, how to squat, and how to deadlift. And they could be nice, long kind of videos that I could put on Skillshare, and it wouldn't necessarily be an issue. So
can anyone put stuff on Skillshare?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Didn't know that.
Yeah, anyone. You just got to make the video and upload it. As long as it doesn't have any like copyright issues or language issues and stuff, and yeah, stick it on thing. So I can do those. I was also going to do one on a fast fat loss course thing on Skillshare. I could also do like a Premiere Pro editing course. So all of these again are like assets, right? And if I just upload them on Skillshare, I'll get, I don't know, maybe a couple £100 a month, maybe a couple of grand a month, maybe $100,000 a month. Who knows? But at the same time, I think it's just an easy thing to make. And once it's made, it's just there, right? It's done.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are the types of things that I'm kind of trying to make sure that I diversify my income overall and come up with things that are passive income, but also things that are potentially active anyway, that I actually enjoy, that I can fill time with quite easily. So that's what I want to do. And equally, I think it's a case of I'm still not necessarily in the mindset of wanting to hire anyone or employ someone or anything like that. I think still working within the contractor thing and just being a one-man band that I am is probably the thing that I'd prefer to continue to do, but just have systems where if I do bring on a contractor or if I do bring on like a part-timer for a little while, maybe for a few hours a week, still on a contract basis, then I've got systems and understanding of how to do that and what they would do. So, but for now, it's a case of if I can build up sort of a little coaching, freelancey type of creative coaching client thing, yeah, I'd really like to do that, earn a bit more money doing that, and then also the courses. I think that's, yeah, I need to do it because it's too easy.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. We did mention at the last episode that you might do we might do a podcast, beginner podcast course.
That was in the personal section rather than the professional, because that's just the fun and games.
Yeah, as I say, like I don't really need to split. Do I need to split it down? I don't feel I need to split my personal and professional goals.
Well, I guess I do because I am my business.
Yeah. You can make.
And you're employed, Neil, so it's kind of a bit different. Where at the end of the day, you always get your check at the end of the month. And then I guess you've come to the kind of the conclusion, or at least the flatline conclusion, that having a bit of a slower 10 years is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Where I think I need to. What I'm not doing is necessarily looking for progression. It's actually just because I've progressed. It's for me, it's more about, well, how do I refine that? How do I make it a bit smarter? How do I make it a bit better? How do I make it, more bang for your buck per hour of me working, for example? Those types of things, and also then, creating baseline foundations. So if I didn't work at all, if I didn't have to actively do anything, and it was just something that was just sat there, can that be something that could earn me some money and keep ticking over? So basically, yeah, that's what I need to think about, and that's what I want to do. Yeah, basically.
Nice. As I said at the start of the podcast, my ones are pretty similar to last year. which 12 books, read 12 books is coming into 2023. But I've gone a step further in terms of how I want to achieve that. So I don't know about you, but I like the physical books. I think we've talked about that a few times in episodes. And seeing how many chapters are in a book and like breaking that down into, well, if I can do a chapter a day, then this book going to take me X amount of time. Or if I can do a chapter a week, then this book's going to take me, and make it more kind of scientific than just say 12 books in a year, because some books are really thick, some books are really thin. Yeah, just make it more measurable than just saying 12 books. So I haven't chosen a book for January, but if you've got any recommendations, Gordon, let me know.
Hell Yeah or No by Derek Sivers.
Okay, done.
Read it.
Yeah, and just be a bit more scientific about how long that book will take me. If I can do a chapter a day or a chapter a week, then that should keep me on track.
Well, I think it's even, you could probably break it down to even further, just to pages.
Yeah,
I think that's more, again, that's probably more realistic, because even if you go down to chapters, then some books have chapters that are like 100 pages long.
True, yeah.
Whereas some books have got chapters that are literally a page. So pages are the thing that probably it would help you align something where you're like, I read 30 pages a week, or 20 pages a week, or 10 pages a day, that kind of thing. I think that's probably a better target, because then it doesn't matter how long the book is. It doesn't matter how long the chapters are. It just matters that you tick the box of the pages.
Yeah, no, it's a good shape. So have you got any reading ones?
I do actually have a reading one. This is more of a professional target, but I guess, yeah, the whole reading thing, it's just a general thing that I want to do more of, because I find that I'm a more interesting human being when I read.
Yeah, definitely. You can talk more.
More interesting human being. It sparks more interest in my brain. It just does lots of stuff that I think is good for me. One of them is this guy called Paul Graham. I can't remember where I got this recommendation from, but it was from an entrepreneur sort of thing. But he has blog posts, and there's a lot of them. Let me see if I can find. It's Paul Graham Entrepreneurship. He's got hundreds of these essays. Not hundreds, maybe.
Oh, he was part of Microsoft years ago, I think.
Yeah, probably. But I'd basically been sort of highlighted with him, and he's got loads of them. There's probably enough for me to read over the course of a year.
And the website's really...
it's basic.
Really big. Yeah, no, I've seen a few of his essays.
Super basic. So the idea is I'm going to read every single one of them at least a week. I've written every day, but I don't know how long that'll last. It won't last very long. But they're quite short. They're not too long. And I feel like that'd probably be a good thing. If I open my laptop, that's the first thing that I should do, or try to do. So read one of his blogs, and then just generally reading in overall. But the thing is, I used to like reading when there's not really much you can do, and that's usually when you commute. So when you commute, you just kind of sat there or stood there and you just hold the book and you read it. Whereas when you're at home, there's so many other things you could be doing.
Yeah.
Like infinitely, almost. Kids going to distract you, to eating, to watching TV,
to
washing. Yeah, all that stuff that I do. So yeah, I guess it's kind of like a balance of how can I find a way to read more without it being too impactful or too distracting. So usually short and sweet is a good thing. But I have ordered 2 more books on Amazon that Laura doesn't know are coming. Oh, she probably does, because it's linked to her account. But I've ordered another book by Derek Sivers, but called Anything You Want, 40 Lessons for a New Kind of Entrepreneur. I love his writing. I think his writing's fantastic. The way he takes it is he gets rid of words and sentences that aren't needed. Like, it's not fluff. It's like literally a chapter is 1 page.
Uh-huh.
And it's great. And then the other one's Alex Hormozi's $100 Million Offers. How to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. I heard this is a very good book. So yeah, I've ordered those 2, and they're on their way. They'll be here soon, hopefully.
Nice. But yeah,
they're probably...
I was just going to say, I really enjoy reading too, and it's something quite therapeutic.
Yeah, it is good. It's just a good thing to do, I think. So I'd like to do more of it. So that's Paul Graham stuff, and then try and find some time, because I was kind of thinking about, well, how can I massage an environment where I'll read a book or I'll do more work, And one of those is, we've got a Nero, like a coffee shop Nero, just down the road. Like, it take me 10 minutes to walk there. And I feel like if I want to do some writing, or I'm scripting some YouTube videos, or I want to do some reading, or just anything in that kind of manner, I feel like walking down there and sitting there for, maybe the morning is probably a good idea. So I'm going to try that as well, I think, as part of my like reading thing.
Nice.
Right. Any of those?
More on like going back to reading, but also sleep. So I've been tracking my sleep the last 5 or 6 days with my Garmin watch, and I get good REM sleep, good light sleep, but horrendous deep sleep. So like, I don't know, the average you should be doing in your sleep cycle is like an hour to 2 hours, and I get 20 minutes, which is quite interesting. And a way to improve that is to like cut out screen time an hour before bed, do some reading, do some kind of mindfulness before bed. So yeah, it's another thing I want to try and take into 2023 is try and get my sleep sorted, because I don't feel, and it's hard with 3 kids, because one of them is at least going to be coughing or coming through just randomly for a cuddle, or telling the boys have got a weird thing where they need to tell us that they're going for a pee, despite it being like 2 or 3 in the morning. They're like, I need a wee. So yeah, it's hard with kids, but try and get my sleep a bit sorted. Like I get enough in terms of hours, but the quality it definitely lacks. So 2023, I want to do that. But in terms of other,
what you're saying is, Neil, are you saying you're just going to sell your kids and then get back to?
I don't know. I think like alcohol as well. So I broke down my January into 3 measurable goals, and I've said, and alcohol affects your sleep. If you didn't know that, you might feel like you get to sleep a lot easier with alcohol, but your quality of sleep definitely deteriorates. So I'm limiting myself in January to 2 days per week of an alcoholic drink.
Wow, Neil! Oh my! You were talking about like alcoholics earlier on.
Yeah, I'm not doing dry January, because that's just not feasible.
It's also not necessary, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not.
The abstinence is not the key to people succeeding at things. Like, it's about moderation. And
I find like I'm in London twice in January with work, and that's going to be at least one night each week of drinking, and I quite like at the weekend to have a drink. So midweek one day maybe, and then weekend one day. December has been probably 3 or 4 days, so that'll be an improvement and hopefully help my sleep.
Nice.
The other thing, 3 days a week of running, I mentioned. Also, I want to start again doing daily gratitude. It's very kind of a stoic thing, but I used to do it quite regularly last year. I did it for 2 or 3 months. I used Notion, which you probably heard of through Ali, the kind of tool. And there's like a calendar view, and then each day it asks you questions of like what you're grateful for, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, three entries into that a day. So 3 things I'm grateful for.
Nice. All right.
For January.
We talked about that podcast Skillshare course. I think it's one of my personal goals. I had some ideas around it, and we could have a little project and see if we can come up with something for it. Other ones are like, the average step count stuff, podcasting, drop body fat. One of the kind of rogue ones, which I kind of had for a while, is to fly first class with Laura. So get a first class flight with her somewhere, wherever it'll be, just the 2 of us, and enjoy the kind of, maybe. I mean, if my business keeps going well, then yeah, sure. That's a business expense, right? She's my videographer. So that kind of thing, like that would be nice. I'd like to do that, because I don't know. There's something about an experience of flying in that kind of flying in fancy planes in fancy classes is kind of just I find it really fun. Because you get the lounge experience, you get all the stuff that goes with it, you get the nice service, and when you like fly, sometimes with some airlines, the chauffeur comes and picks you up and then also drops you off at the other side, and you get a nice car, and I don't know, it's just nice. So I think I'd like to try and do that at some point in the year, but given our mortgage is going up and everything else is going up, then we shall see how that goes. But maybe it's a points thing, or I don't know. It's something around that. We can see. But flying first class would be a really fun thing to do. I'd quite like to do that. And then I guess more on sort of the professional side of things, like I've got a few more goals. One of them is to sort of start this YouTube thing again and try and post once per week. I have 4 scripts written, and I've got a sort of science writer, researcher helping me out with extra bits for these scripts. So I have him full swing. He's already started doing some bits and pieces on one of them, and I just need to sort of sit down and hash them out. And yeah, just start working on those and start posting them once a week, get them filmed. And yeah, start the journey of YouTube again, because again, it's like an asset, right? You upload it. I've made 700 quid this year just on YouTube because of those 3 videos that did really well.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of money, but equally,
have you got a genre? Have you got a target?
Yeah, it's going to be fitness again, because that's kind of like my knowledge niche. It's also my ability to film things is much higher than most other fitness people, so I can create really cool cinematic videos. And my understanding of YouTube is better. So all round, I just need to pull my finger out. But generally speaking, it's going to be more of a dad kind of niche, over 35 kind of area, where that's going to be my target audience. And yeah, basically, like think Matt Diavella, if you ever watch him. But for
dads and fitness.
For fitness for dads.
Nice.
So that's the plan. And then posting on Instagram twice per week. On my creative sort of page, because I've just again, it's
excuses.
important to. It's not so much excuses. It's just kind of like it's just not piss poor planning.
Yeah.
I think that's what falls down to. Certainly for some of my goals, health again, like the gym stuff. It's not motivation. It's not education. It's literally piss poor planning. Like I'm not going. What does my diary look like for the next week? Okay, I'm going to go to the gym Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I'm not doing that. I'm just like, hey, yeah, whatever. I'll do it tomorrow. Whereas, my whole life it's been a case of if I want to achieve something, I pull my trousers up and I go out and do it. That's what you got. You can't. No one's going to do it for me. No one's going to post on my Instagram for me. No one's going to do that. So I've started churning out some ideas, writing them out in terms of like mini scripts for reels. So I'm just going to do a batch filming day where I'll pick one day a week and I'll batch film sort of for the month's content, which is only eight pieces of content, right? So how hard can that be, Neil?
Yeah.
But that's half a day's work. Like I'll sit down, set the camera up, make it look nice, and then film 8 pieces of content, and that's my whole entire month done. And schedule them all so I don't have to post, I don't have to do anything. Like that's half a day to a day's work. That's it. And that's my whole month sorted. So that's the plan for that. Once per week with YouTube, and yeah, I think that pretty much rounds up all the sort of goals. So for me, yeah, professional goals are coaching clients and passive income overall from an income perspective, posting regularly on social media from YouTube to Instagram, then creating that passive income with those courses, and then reading that Paul Graham blog post every week, just to tick over, read a bit more, and then personal goals, the health thing, making sure I train 3 times a week, do an average count of 8,000 steps, lose 5 kilos, and then, create a podcast course, Skillshare course with Neil.
Nice. I think we should, this year we did like a 6-month review. I think we should do it every 3 months.
Oh, quarterly,
yeah.
Quarterly catch up. You're like, hey, if it's happening, have you actually gone to the gym, you fat bastard?
Have you lost your 5 kilograms? But yeah, like on that weight thing, I sent Gordon yesterday a graph. I weigh myself like, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks. And then every marker is kind of slowly going up. So the line graph is from like January, where I was sitting at like 75 kilograms. Now I'm at 85.6. And it's just like a steady increase. And seeing it visually is quite good, because like I need to do something about it. Like I need to get back down. I need to stop that curve. So yeah, that weight loss thing's on my mind. I haven't really broken it down like any kind of. I'd like to get back to sub 80, 78, 77 would be nice. Helps my running. Just generally feel better in clothes. But I don't know. I haven't given myself a time frame. Maybe that's I need to go away and think about it.
Yeah, I'd probably just do a short one, like through January 1st of January through to the 30th, and then just try and blitz it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because like often, I know a lot of people will say, oh, slow and steady, like just take your time, whatever else. But sometimes just committing to an audacious goal in a short period of time. Like how many people cram cram in their studying for exams like the night before or the week before, right? And everyone's like, yeah, it's the wrong thing to do, but it's probably not terrible to some extent. I don't know any research on studying. But equally, when it comes to fat loss goals or fitness goals or whatever else, then just go ham. As long as it doesn't hurt you financially or physically, then screw it.
Screw it, let's do it.
Screw it, let's do it. Exactly.
On that note, hope you've enjoyed episode number 56, where we've done a goal setting for 2023. Some takeaways, I don't know, set goals. Like, I think it's too easy not to, even if it's just a holiday with the family or you want to run an ultra, just write it down and try and achieve it. I've been trying to
say them out loud on a podcast, Neil.
Yeah, exactly. And talk about them to friends and family. Like Rebecca this morning, we were having breakfast just before my run, and I was like, oh, have you set any goals this year? And she has. And we kind of talked about it. And yeah, it's a good thing to do. You can find us on Instagram. Not much content on there. As usual, maybe I should add that to my goals.
I think you should, Neil. You should add that to a fat part of your goals, because all you do is basically just turn up and talk on a microphone, and I do the rest of the heavy lifting.
I create a thumbnail which takes me about 30 seconds.
Oh, well done, Neil. Congratulations.
Yeah, send us any questions, blah, blah. Rate us on Spotify.
The last episode's done pretty remarkable, considering we don't have any following. Like, I think the last episode on YouTube did 100 and something. Let me see if I can find it.
I'm just looking at it just now. Where is it?
Yeah, it's done like 98 views, which, it seems terrible in the context of what most people get, but we normally get like between 10 and 20 views, and it's the most viewed one yet. Is the highlights of 2022.
That must be something to do with YouTube algorithm.
We got one person dislike it though. That's a bit dickish.
Can you see who dislikes it? Or is that?
Nah, you just see it. There's a dislike. Because normally we get 100%, right? People just like the odd like here and there. But no, not this one. There was one dislike. Yeah. So whoever you are, I hope you have horrible 2023. Prick.
Yeah, and obviously, like last episode, we hit over 3,000 downloads. We're now at 3,061.
Boom. Look at us, Neil, flying.
Growth
Indeed.
Anyway,
we're just chatting.
Have a great day, a great week, and a great 2023.
All right. Cheers, Neil.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, hold on. I've got to try and cut this off. I'm going to have to cut this bit out. I don't want to edit it. See you later.